An enemy force has been deployed out here. Ready, Emma in the Gundam!
Back with more punch than Captain Falcon. That's right, Gundam at MAHQ. Welcome to episode 16. I'm Soulbro, and with us today are...
Chris.
Neil Lornick. And with a special guest today, too.
That's right. Give it up for...
Hey, this is Destiny Gundam here once again.
All right.
That's our friend Peter, who joined us on episode 10 for the Super Robot Wars discussion. Well, he's with us the whole show this episode. So get settled in, and we're gonna kickstart things off. On this episode 16, we're gonna discuss first and foremost what we're currently watching in Mecha Anime. In the second segment, we're gonna get into the state of the anime industry today and what kind of effect it has on Mecha Anime. We discuss each premier company that's bringing out anime here in the United States and just go over the ups and downs of the last couple of years. And last but not least, we're going to continue our Gundam Spotlight, where we'd finally get to Char's Counterattack, the first original feature film in the Gundam franchise. But before we get into that, as usual, we're going to go ahead and build the excitement with Neo's news.
All right. kind of quiet on the news front, but I know that in the continuing tradition of pimping out games that will never come here, and for Gundam, the official site for the Gundam Battle Universe, it has actually opened, and they got the game section, and they have some sections for mobile suit listings, and I guess they have some movies in there. So anybody interested in that game, definitely go to that. You can always find links through Ganoda, where a lot of these news stories are courtesy of. Like I said, pretty quiet on the news front, but this is kind of a tie into Gundam. Chris, who was Swetson Sterno in Turn A? What character was that? I can't remember that guy.
He was that really fat samurai-looking guy who had the My Hero, and he got killed by Jim.
Right on.
Okay.
Swetson.
Okay.
I remember him now.
Yeah, that sat on the other person.
Yeah, that really big old fat guy, Swetson Sotero.
Well, unfortunately, his voice actor had passed away not too long ago. I guess he died. His name was Tora Uganda, and he died suddenly in a Tokyo hospital at the age of 55. The cause of death is kind of unknown, but I guess he was suffering from diabetes. So, he was kind of a prolific. He was a drummer for some band called Busy Four in the late 70s to the early 80s, and I guess he was a comedic personality on a lot of the Japanese variety shows and stuff, so I guess he's pretty well known over there for some of his comedy, but in terms of Gundam, he's best known as Swetson Sterno, so our thoughts and condolences go out to his family. And addition, like I said, we got some, not too much on the news front here, but I guess there's going to be, on the Hobby Shop Midori, they posted the Air Shock Battle 1/12 Beam Saber, and it's going to be available in September for 4,980 yen. So it works in 3 different modes: Standard, which has the sound effects as you swing; Scenario, which features 7 stages with Torio Fuyura's voice and battles with a Zaku and Goof, and an unlikable new type sound effect for Standard mode.
Nice.
And the Kataguchi mode, which is similar to Standard but with Beam Saber vibration.
That might be the baddest toy since the Indiana Jones whip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They released one of those?
They made one recently.
Yeah, they have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with an adapter and stand, and it's aimed at the new and casual Gundam fan 8 and up. Wow, I qualify.
Hey, there you go.
And as well as the hardcore.
Are you at least 8 years old?
Yeah, and up. I'm 8 and up. So it's for that fan and also for the hardcore fan, and I guess there's a large scale promotion that's being planned for this. So anybody with a few extra bucks to spend on stuff, you might want to kind of get that. But
well played, Bandai. Well played.
And I'd like to give our first installment of some listener-submitted news topic. I was actually very happy to see this. Somebody other than Soulbro sending me an article. And this is courtesy of, he's known as Nick M on the Mecha Talk forum. And he had sent me this. And I guess in Vancouver, they're going to be having... they're having this exhibition called Crazy, the Delirious World of Anime, Comics, Video Games, and Art. And I guess it's the first of its kind. It's a project that offers a unique and dynamic insight into the world of comics, animated cartoons, anime, manga, graphic novels, computer video games, and visual art. It's spanning the century of the art making, and the works in the exhibition reveal an extraordinary history of production. And they're going to have examples of original sketches, notes, concept drawings, final production drawings, animation cells, 3D models, and published works. So it's promising a rare insight into the mind of some of the finest artists at work today, and it's being supported by the Vancouver Foundation, and it's going to be running from May 17th to September 7th, 2008. So there's, I guess if you take a look at it's at the Vancouver Art Gallery, and I guess if you go to their website, I'm sure they're going to have all the information that you need. So just like to thank Nick for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we have a lot of Canadian listeners, so I thought that'd be nice. But I'd like to thank Nick for his article, and I encourage everybody to continue to send me stuff, because that's definitely some of the articles that we're looking for. So. And to be honest, I would have never known anything like this, so that's kind of cool. So anybody that's going to be in Vancouver during those times, definitely check it out. But
I mean, a Gundam exhibit that we're actually on the same continent with?
Well, it's not a Gundam exhibit. It's not a Gundam exhibit. It's more of an art exhibition.
But it involves Gundam, so I guess that's as close as we'll get.
Anime and manga. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some things in there.
Speaking of news from the Vancouver area, I want to make a shout out to Mark064.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very long time MAHQ contributor whose house burnt down a few days before we recorded this episode. There's a thread on Mecha Talk, a sticking thread in general discussion with information if you'd like to donate via PayPal to him. Him and his mother, they pretty much lost everything, and they're receiving some government and insurance assistance, but I can sympathize that when you've lost everything, anything that anyone can help out will really make a difference. So if you're able to, no matter how much it is, $5, $10, $15, $20, anything that would help, I'm sure he could definitely use that for all of the essentials needed to live.
I saw that link that she had put up.
If you're interested, it's a sticky at the top of the general discussion section of the mechatalk.net boards. Just go there and give it a visit. You'll find it at the top. And by all means, give what you can.
Any little bit helps. But that's it on the news.
We'll be back in just a minute. This is Gundam at MAHQ.
You see us struggling in the car. You walk up, you open the door, and you say, "You're lying, George." "Oh, hey you, get your damn hands off her." "You really think I ought to swear?" "Yes, definitely. Damn it, George, swear."
It's the greatest city in the history of mankind. Discovered by the Germans in 1904. They named it San Diego, which of course in German means a whale's.
The show with more game than Parker Brothers is going to Comic-Con this summer. That's right, Gundam at MAHQ. It'll be me, Sobro Ryu, and
Leo Lornock, and Chris will be there in spirit. Unfortunately, he won't be able to make it with us.
He certainly will. When we're there, we're gonna be podcasting daily from there with our experiences of the con, and also
any news out there that might be you guys might find important, and we'll definitely do some stuff on our blog.
And also, if any of you guys are going, by all means, email us at gundam.mahq@gmail.net and let us know you're going to be there, and hopefully we'll run it to you.
Keep checking the Mecha Talk boards, especially in the Gundam section, especially around the last part of July. The con's from July 24th through the 27th, and like Solbro said, we're going to be doing some quick little podcast snippets, hopefully every night, just telling you some good things and some of the things that we see and some of the things you might want to keep an eye out for. So definitely hit us up and let us know if you're there. If not, we'll come back with lots of pictures and everything else.
See you in San Diego. Peace.
No, there's no way that's correct.
I'm sorry, I don't know what it means.
Doesn't it mean Saint Diego?
No.
No, that's what it means, really.
Well, agree to disagree.
Suddenly, there was a terrible roar all around us, and the sky was full of what looked like huge bats, all swooping and screeching and diving around the car. And a voice was screaming, "Holy Jesus, where are these goddamn animals?"
Hey everybody, welcome back to Gundam at MAHQ. Today we're going to be yanking a topic off of our forum at Mecha Talk and using that for some discussion, and the topic in question is, what's your current anime? This time we're going to tweak it a little bit, and we're going to make it what's your current mecha anime.
Nice.
So we're going to be talking about mecha anime shows that we're watching in our spare time. We're going to be ignoring stuff that we're reviewing, like Macross Frontier and Code Geass R2, so we're just going to discuss things that we're watching for the hell of it that we want to see. So I guess I'll kick it off with some of the shows that I'm watching. Recently I started watching the original Dan Cougar.
Nice.
Oh, man.
That's a fun show when it gets going.
Yeah. I'd already seen Dan Cougar Nova. I think you saw it too, right, Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe want to watch the original one.
Yeah, so I decided, what the hell, start watching the original. For those who haven't seen it, it started off back in 1985. It's sort of the height of the real robot revolution. And even though it's a super robot show, it has so many elements and stylings of a real robot show that I kind of almost want to call it a real robot show.
Really?
I don't consider it a real robot show.
Really?
Because it's so unlike super robot shows. I mean, it has some elements because you have this whole thing of
combining robot.
Evil alien empire invades Earth, and you have evil intergalactic emperor who sends his incompetent generals down to conquer Earth, and they keep getting their asses kicked all the time.
Right.
But otherwise, it's so different because, number one, the heroes of the Cyber Beast Force, they're all soldiers.
Oh, wow.
And the super robot that they use, which combines, is military hardware.
Wow.
Right.
And it doesn't really do anything that special. There's a plane fighter, there's 3 tanks, and the tanks, they turn into a cougar, a liger, and a mammoth.
Right.
And the weapons they have is standard fare, like missiles and Vulcans and cannons, nothing like fancy. The enemy uses one mass production robot that looks like it could be in a real robot show, and one mass production air fighter.
Oh, okay.
So the whole story is, alien empire invades and Earth's military collapses almost immediately, but you have this resistance movement in North America that keeps fighting and giving the aliens trouble. So most of the story, from what I've seen up to episode 9, is you have the Cyber Beast Force being dispatched to assist the resistance fighters.
Wow.
So they're fighting in wrecked cities and helping all these guerrillas who are trying to fight this alien mecha. And what's interesting is, in most super robot shows, you have this sort of the Sentai formula where, they have their individual machines, then they turn into robots, they fight some powerful thing, then they combine into the main robot, and they kick ass. Doesn't even happen here. At the point where I'm at, they haven't even transformed into the smaller humanoid forms of their 4 mecha, let alone even combined into Dan Cougar.
Really?
Damn.
In fact, from what I've read, they don't even combine into Dan Cougar until episode 18.
Really?
Wow.
16.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's episode 16 when they first combined into Dan Cougar.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so, 16.
They take the sweet time.
Yeah, they take their sweet time. So for most of the time now that I've seen, they're just fighting, either as jets or tanks or as, in their animal modes. But they haven't even transformed into, humanoid robot modes yet.
Man.
Wow.
So that makes it stand out.
That's because they didn't read their manuals.
Yeah, because they're all kind of they're kind of a team of weirdos. You've got the main character Shinobu Fujiwara, who's your typical sort of hot-blooded dick. The guy's really a dick, and it's sort of helped by the fact that he's played by Kazuki Yao, who plays Judo Ashita, and more recently Frankie in One Piece.
Oh, okay.
So he's great at playing sort of these dick characters, and that's what he does. You've got this girl Sarah, who's kind of aloof but has a nicer side to her. You've got this guy Masato, who's sort of the young, inexperienced, goofy guy. And then you got this guy, Ryo, who's the straight man.
Wow.
Well, man.
How long is the show, Chris?
It's 38 episodes. There's a couple of OAV sequels.
Right.
And then there's Dan Cougar Nova, which is totally separate.
That's crazy, though, that it takes them all the way up to episode 16 to even do the combination, because you're talking almost halfway through the show.
I thought waiting 5 episodes to see Voltron become Voltron in the original series was hard enough.
Yeah.
18?
Oh, that's nothing. Hell, in this show, it takes like 5 episodes just to gather the whole team.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
That's pretty cool.
Oh man, so they're not rolling out the gate.
Yeah, for the first 2 episodes, it's just Shinobu, and then episode by episode after that, they start introducing each of the new team members.
Right.
So it takes a while just to get the whole team, and then, from then it takes them a while to, get to the robot modes and then to Dan Cougar.
Wow.
And in the meantime, the whole thing of they're fighting the enemies, like I said, they have this one mass production sort of Zaku-ish mecha, and the commanders, they just fly sort of customized versions of that one mecha.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And everything just has, that 80s design style of real robots. I mean, this show was airing right around the same time that Zeta started, so it's right in the middle of all of these real robot shows and just took the artistic stylings of that, and I think that makes this show very unique because if you look at it, ever since then, super robot shows have just sort of stuck back to that old 70s style.
Yeah.
Well, who animates this show? Is it Tatsunoko or is it Toei or?
Let's see here.
Probably wasn't Sunrise.
I've seen parts of Dan Cougar Nova.
No, it wasn't Sunrise. It was Ashi Productions.
Oh, okay.
Which
also created Machine Robo.
Oh.
Cool.
Romstall.
Nice.
So I'll kick it to one of you. We'll just keep going round and round. Paul, I know you're watching Dragonar, so might as well just mention that one briefly.
Yeah, based on Chris's recommendation, I'm watching some Dragonar. I'm actually watching about 3 different ones right now, but Dragonar, a very interesting little show. I know that we've mentioned it a couple times, I think, on the show before here, but I guess it was released after Double Zeta, and I guess from what I understand, what Chris has told me and everything, that it was supposedly thought of being like the next franchise to replace Gundam. I guess at that time they didn't think Gundam was going to have the legs that it has now, or it's just surviving in like its 30th year. But I don't. It also has kind of that real robot, super robot type of feel to it. You got the 3 characters, and you have the 3 specialized mech. What is it? The D1 is like the general purpose one. The D2 is like it's
artillery.
The artillery one, and then the D3 is like the radar
reconnaissance.
Yeah, it's able to jam things. It's able to jam radar. It's able to pick up enemies like way before any of the other forces can pick them up. And kind of an interesting thing. 3 guys that are just kind of thrown into the whole situation of piloting these. And what makes it kind of interesting is the 3 pilots, Kane, Light, and Tap.
Yeah.
They're kind of idiots.
They're totally stupid.
I mean,
they're pretty stupid.
They're lovable idiots. They're just kind of, because they're all like, I think they're Light is like 17. I think Tap and Kane are like 16, and they're just kind of slacker dudes because the whole thing is, there's this war between this empire that's on the moon and then the people on Earth. And it seems like at the beginning, most of their friends have either left the colony, they're living in a space colony, and they've either left the colony or they've joined one of the sides, either the Empire or the Earth military, and these guys are just kind of hanging out. And they do an interesting take on how they have to keep these guys as pilots. Once you get when they got into the mechs, they were brand new. And when they're brand new, they register everything on it, your voice, your eyes, all this stuff. So once it's registered with the AI that's in the suits, nobody else can change it. So, that's cool. And it's the typical thing. They start in space, they go down to Earth. There's the chase sequence. I'm at episode 21 right now. Mm-hmm. One of the pilots just met his father. Kane just met his father, and of course, the typical thing of the father's he's a war hero on this one. He's like the man when it comes to the Earth military. But very interesting show. Has a lot of, you could definitely tell it's a Sunrise show. It's got a lot of the Sunrise staples in it. And it is like a double Zeta Gundam voice actor fest on it too, because it's like everybody. It's like, oh my god, I think that was that Camille? Was that what's his face? And it's like, man. But I definitely say it's a show that people should check out. like I said, the guys are just kind of lovable idiots, and it's just kind of them making their way, throughout. And I'm definitely looking forward to the end of this because it started off really comedic, and I can see it's starting to take that turn right now. Where it's starting to become real serious.
Well, they never completely lose the comedy. They kind of keep it consistent throughout.
Yeah, but it's at this point though that I'm at, it's a little bit more serious than it was at the beginning. And like I said, it's got all the staples in it. Blonde enemy ace whose sister happens to be on the other side. And they meet up, and it's all the things on there, kind of the strong captains, and it's just the kind of cannon fodder baddies that go around, and what makes it kind of interesting is on the other side there's these three guys that are like this, they're part of the squad that the blonde enemy ace is, and I'm sure Chris will agree with me. They're basically Kane, Light, and Tap, but the military versions of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, because they're kind of goofy.
Yeah, they're just screws and goofy. And
yeah.
They're toys.
They remind me of, they got kind of the attitude of Mashima from Double Zeta, where everything's over the top, and they're going to do everything for their empire and for, Lieutenant Plateau, and it's like, oh, we can't, when he got assigned, he got dishonored, and he's getting assigned to the front lines. They're like seeing him off in his plane, and they're crying when they're flying their mechs, and they're just way over the top and goofy, but it's definitely a cool show.
For the record, of course, we'll be doing Dragonar in an upcoming Anime Spotlight segment, so we'll be discussing the show a lot.
I just want to say something about Dragonar here. Just wait until it becomes Fist of the Dragonar.
Oh, no!
Yeah, that's coming up pretty soon based on where you are.
Yeah, all right, I'll keep that in mind.
Awesome.
So, Adam, what are you watching?
I've been watching Overman King Gainer.
Nice.
Which we discussed a little bit on the Tomino grand review that we had a couple episodes back. But I'm a little over halfway through. I'd say I'm around 16. It's a good show. I mean, you just can't. It's not a show you take seriously. It's just it's one of those shows. It's fun, just like really Dragonar is. I want to see Dragonar, which I'll probably get on after I finish watching the next show I have on deck, which is Full Metal Panic. God save me. But
Hey, that show's pretty awesome.
Is it really? I'll take.
Yeah, it is.
I'll take your recommendation.
Full Metal Panic.
And I'll watch it with.
Man, Garon is out of this world.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. I mean, even Neo told me.
It only takes like 3 different series to kill him.
Yeah, it's like he's the cockroach. He's got the cockroach effect.
He's the cockroach antagonist.
But going on Aura Battler. Oh my God, on Overman King Gainer. I like the fact that they made a gamer the main character. And I like how antisocial he is, because that's what most gamers are. And it's a pretty neat depiction of a main lead that's like that. And of course you got Gain, who's the overall badass of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, there's nothing he can't do. Plus he's a sniper.
Yeah.
It's like, look out, Lock on Stratos. Look out. I mean, judging from the first episode, when the man takes somebody out with a tin cup.
Yeah.
When he gives him a Shoryuken with the tin cup in hand, that's like that set the tone for the whole series. And the fact that he doesn't even use he doesn't even use a Overman. He uses just a straight up kind of scaled down
silhouette machine or silhouette engine.
Silhouette engine, you got it, and with the sniper cannon on it. I mean, the guy's just overall, but
with no cockpit.
Was that? Yeah, exactly.
He's driving a convertible.
But one of the things that gets me about Overman King Gainer is how the fight scenes, mech and between two humans, are directed.
Oh, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, this very well directed. I can see that Tomino really picked out a good team for that show. Ironically, part of the team that worked on Overman King Gainer is Goro Taniguchi and his staff for all the other shows that he did. Taniguchi was a part of Overman King Gainer, the director of Code Geass and Planetes and other great Sunrise shows, plus Gun X Sword. So if you like those shows, I suggest you check out Overman King Gainer. It's one of Tomino's happy series. I'm gonna wrap it up soon and then move on to my friend what's the main lead of Full Metal Panic?
Sosuke.
Yeah, my man Sosuke, and that intolerable broad. Oh, I can't stand that chick. Chidori. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm
That's the superior.
It's all about Captain Testarossa, man.
Captain Testarossa, who I like. I mean, she's the Ruri of Submarine.
We'll have to cover
Yeah.
Gainer in a anime spotlight in the future too. Once I get the last volume and finish the damn show.
Yes, indeed.
So Peter, give us the show that you're watching.
Okay, this one's a big nostalgia bomb for me. I just recently started rewatching Transformers: Robots in Disguise.
How disappointed are you?
No, man, that was my favorite series. I watched it on TV when I was younger, and it was my favorite one where Optimus Prime was a fire truck, and
Yeah.
Megatron turned into a twin-headed dragon and a giant hand and a car and a jet and a bat. And you had like the Predacons and the Autobots, and then the Decepticons showed up later.
I just said that because every old show that I grew up with or that I was watching, when I watch it now, sometimes it just kind of loses it. Like I was trying to watch Voltron, and it was just like, oh, what the hell was I watching?
Now I see just how corny it is, but it's still like the awesome kind of corny. Like
Yeah, that's cool.
Like in that
was an awesome show.
episode 3, they're trying to stop this speeding train, so they're like, "Oh, hey, are we gonna slow this down?" And Midnight Express, one of the bullet trains, he's like, "I know, let's cover the track with glue. That'll slow it down." And then Rapid Run goes, "Dude, I'm gonna pretend you didn't just say that."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, that is one of the better Transformers shows.
You know.
I like that one.
Old cheesy goodness.
Oh yeah, gotta have it.
Childhood memories.
Gives the show spirit.
Well, I guess it's my turn again. Something else that I've been slowly going through over the course of the last few months with all of the other distractions that I have is Gao Gaigar, because I had never seen the show. Well, actually,
Show is so awesome.
I had seen the first episode years ago, but I never saw the whole thing, so I'm going through it. I'm actually exactly halfway through.
Nice.
So I'm sort of right around the part where when Mike Saunders shows up
Yeah.
with all his goofy, lovable stupidity. My friends!
Some quality American products right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's such a loser, but
Yeah.
the thing about the show is, even though for the first half it's sort of the stereotypical, Zonder monster shows up, team goes out and fights it,
Yep.
Gao Gaigar forms up and beats it up.
Heaven and Earth.
Yeah, heaven and hell.
Hell and heaven.
Or the way it is now, Hammer Hell and Hammer Heaven. But despite the formulaic nature, the show is just so lovable anyway.
Yeah.
I think in large part due to the cast.
Yeah.
It's just a really likable cast.
The anti-Adeon.
With all the people in 3G, all of the people in 3G, of course, Mr. Hot-Blooded Guy.
Yeah.
Even down to losers like Mike Saunders. You just can't help but love them all. So that sort of definitely makes the show appealing. And you got some great animation for the time, especially. This is one of the few stock footages I don't mind seeing over and over when Gao Gaigar forms up, because you see all of the amount of detail they put into all 4 of the mecha combining and all of the parts moving into place, and everything looks like it works. Like they really put some thought into how everything combines, rather than just saying, okay, all these 4 pieces of crap just combine.
Oh, I was gonna say the best part, the best way of seeing that is when there's an episode where they have to manually dock Gao Gaigar.
Oh yeah.
And it is so cool. It is so cool. It's one of the coolest things, especially when like the train, when the professor's in the train and he's having to go through. But yeah, no.
That is
Go
cool.
ahead, Chris. I just had to say that.
Yeah, that was cool, and show has a great soundtrack, and
yeah.
It's nice and lighthearted, and really enjoyable show.
Just wait until you see Final, though.
Yeah.
What about?
Oh yeah,
Final is something else.
Yeah.
I meant to.
I'm still in the process of watching that, but
Neo, that show's in your top 3, right?
what, Gao Gaigar?
Yeah.
Yeah, this show's awesome.
If
I get a sugar rush from it.
Yeah, sugar rush.
Yeah, I can't really watch it at night because if I do, I won't be able to go to bed.
It makes you feel hot-blooded.
Pretty much. I mean, my roommate owns it. He won't even let it out of the house.
Hey, I'm the same way with like Macross, so I understand the sentiment.
And all I gotta say is, Pizza is one of the coolest villains.
What?
Was that his name? On our copy, that's what he was named. Pizza, the dude with the hat.
Yeah, Pizza. That's his name.
Yeah, Pizza.
At first, anyways.
Yeah.
Plus, speaking of that, rather interesting, internet phenomenon. When I finally saw it, and I told you about this, Peter. That whole scene with Penchinon on the toilet.
God.
Oh.
It's just so freaking bizarre.
Yeah.
Penchinon is so stupid and annoying, but there's just something about that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Does somebody want to do the sound?
No.
Are you serious?
That's what
Yeah.
On the toilet.
So, Paul, it's your turn. Another show that you're watching right now.
One I just got done with it this week, so it was I had seen it a couple of times on the IFC channel. I've been wanting to watch it for the longest time. Was Samurai 7,
Right
and I
on.
guess I can talk about it because there are mechs in there.
Oh God, yeah.
So basically, it's just it's a retelling of the the iconic movie Seven Samurai. Rich, if nobody's seen that, you definitely have to watch it because that's influenced countless movies out there. But it's kind of like a steampunk type of setting where the mechs that they have in there, if anybody's ever watched the original movie, Bandits Attack a Village. Well, in this one, the bandits there's samurai in there, but they gave up their bodies to become mechs.
Really?
Yeah. So it's done by Gonzo. It looks incredible. It follows the original story pretty well. There's a lot of new things that they put in there because I'm about to rewatch the original movie because there's certain things I don't really remember or characters that I think are for the anime and not for the from the movie. But definitely one of those shows that people need to check out, and it was. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely, it's a little over the top in certain ways,
as it should be.
But it's got kind of an interesting, it's an interesting story, interesting take, and a lot of they have all 7 of the samurai from the original movie. So
I'm glad to see it was a pretty good adaptation of it. I mean,
yeah,
I have wanted to see it. I saw the first 2 episodes. There was a Funimation sampler DVD I picked up a while ago at MegaCon when the show was coming out, and by then I had already seen Seven Samurai. Which, if you haven't seen Seven Samurai,
you have to watch that
movie, and you have to see the long version of that movie.
That's the first action movie ever made. That's what they say anyway.
But definitely, it's an interesting take, and I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but I definitely do want to pick up the whole series, which I'll probably do at some point in the future.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of in that kind of steampunk version of stuff, and there's mecha in it. Yeah, actually, one of the 7 samurai is basically they call him machine samurai, and he's basically a mech himself. So
yeah, that guy, I saw that guy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely check that out.
I only got halfway through Seven Samurai, I think. Yeah. Maybe I should watch it, but I kind of know how it ends, so that kind of deters me a little bit.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie in a while, so like I said, I was watching it and I'm like, oh wow, this is following everything, but then there are some things in there that I don't remember, or they're probably something they just kind of put at liberty with with the anime, and it is endorsed by Akira Kurosawa's estate. So it's
just like I own a show called Kaze no Yojimbo that was also a remake of Yojimbo. And
does it have mech in it?
Sadly, no.
No, we can't talk about that.
It is endorsed by the estate of Akira Kurosawa, and it's really good too. But but segueing into Gonzo and the things they do absolutely right. Well, I guess it would. One would be adaptations of old stories into mech shows. Another thing would be vampires, which they seem to be in love with. But getting back to mechs, my show that I enjoyed, I just watched again recently, was Gankutsuo, which is the Count of Monte Cristo. And yes, there are mechs in this show.
Yes, there are.
Very barely, but there are mechs.
Yeah,
and they're awesome mechs.
And they're awesome. They're like if you had a show of nothing but the Gyan from Gundam, fencing mecha. They're all in CG, but it's an absolutely great adaptation. To me, it's the best adaptation I've ever watched of The Count of Monte Cristo, and I've seen the old movie from the 50s, the one with Jim Caviezel, which recent, which is very Hollywood, and then this. And this, I gotta say, is the best adaptation of the story of The Count of Monte Cristo.
It's got mechs.
It's got mechs on top of that.
Well, the thing is, the mechs. The thing about the mechs is they don't even show up until episode 16 or 17, so they're not really part of the story.
You do get to see
you see
glimpses of them before that,
but
even in the first ep, but you don't get to really see them play a part in the storyline until halfway through the show, and then that is a phenomenal scene all by itself. I won't give anything away, but it's one of the best. It's one of the best fights I've ever seen.
I had a love-hate with that scene. It just kind of pissed me off. And then it was like, so, at the same time.
Yeah.
Kind of like episode 17 of Razafon there.
True. I've never watched all the Razafon. I need to sit down and watch it, although I know Neo can't stand that show.
Yeah.
But the climax to Gankusuro is another factor I love about the show. It does not flinch. It doesn't flinch from the Count's revenge. And I love the fact that this show takes his revenge to the full heights of what he intended, as opposed to the Hollywood version, which just softens it up of that storyline. I hate to compare it to the latest movie, but I have to because I actually liked the Caviezel movie until I watched Gankutsuro.
Have you read the novel?
No, I haven't.
I have.
Yeah,
I have too.
I have. I've read the abridged version.
Yeah. How close is it to the novel?
I haven't seen Gankutsu. So.
In the main themes, it's very close, and as far as adaptations go, definitely Gankutsuo really captures the full scope of the Count's desire for revenge and how far he's willing to go to carry out that revenge.
Excellent.
Obviously, Gankutsuo is different because it makes Albert the main character.
Yeah.
And is based on his perspective, whereas the novel, the main character is the Count.
Yeah. Which I like. I like that point of the show where they made the most innocent character in the show the main character, which I was fine with because it gave the Count more mystery. You didn't know jack about the man.
Yeah.
And you saw it all from Albert's perspective, which I thought was excellent. It was a great literary tool, if anything. And even down to the last episode, which is more of an epilogue, if anything, that show was a masterpiece from start to finish. And I actually watched that show as it was airing in Japan and being subtitled, and now I own the whole series on DVD here, and it's a phenomenal show. Neo, whenever
I'll have to check it out.
Whenever you're ready to watch it, man, it's all.
I'm too busy with other shows like Iki
know.
Tosin and boobies and stuff. Powerpuff Girls Z.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls Z.
Sorry.
There you go.
One thing I have to put out there about Gankutsu, I fell into the trap. The trap sprung and caught me.
Oh, you talking about at the beginning of the show? Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to say anything about it because
I'll probably fall into it. Too.
Neo might fall into that trap too, so I'm gonna leave it to be a surprise. But
he should feel the same pain we did. No getaway for him.
That's
actually I don't feel guilty at all about falling into that trap.
Delicious trap.
I don't feel guilty.
Even after the trap was sprung, I still like that character.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway,
moving on.
PD,
give us a show that you're talking about.
Here, let's get my fanboyism out of the way.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to talk about Magic Girl Lyrical Nanoha.
Oh boy.
Why not?
It's a Magic Girl show, sure, but the main target audience is actually men, so it's not like...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's not. It's actually a spin-off of a hentai game, so not real.
Nice.
But,
good material.
So yeah, you got this girl named Nanoha. She finds a wounded ferret who gives her magic powers, but it's not really magic. It's kind of like techno-magic, where it's highly advanced technology and spells or programs loaded into a device that's kind of like a PC, and only they're like stabs and whatnot. And so she has to go collect these things called jewel seeds, which are old parts, and they're relics from a ancient civilization, so they have super powerful abilities, so she has to go and collect them. And on the way she meets this girl named Fate Testarossa, who's also trying to collect them for her mother.
Right.
The mother's like an evil lady.
Oh, nice.
And so they start off as rivals, and goes into how Nanoha befriends her, and they beat the evil mother there.
Oh.
It was like a real evil bitch. And when they storm her castle, they're attacked by giant robots. So there's your mecha there.
I was waiting for it.
So that was the first 13-episode series. Then the next series deals with this book called the Book of Darkness,
Right.
which is like a big storage device that can hold lots of spells and data and stuff.
This is like a big flash drive.
Yeah, kind of like that. And it's Guardian Knights and Nanoha and Fate are now like they team up and they have to fight these Guardian Knights who's trying to collect other people's magic to power up the book.
Right.
But they want to power up the book to help their master, this girl named Hayate Yagami. That she's slowly being like devoured by the book, kind of like it's draining her life force, so she can't walk and stuff, and will eventually kill her. So they're trying to complete it to save her.
Right.
So they clash a little bit, and one of the Guardian Knights, her name is Signum, and she's actually based off Lamia Loveless from Super Robot Wars.
Oh, that's cool.
They have the same voice actors and everything. Like the Nanoha staff are huge mecha fans.
Right.
Like it may be a magical show, but it plays out like a robot show.
Nice.
Like they call out their attacks and they have like huge blasts that can like take out a big chunk of landscape and. So they
decimate cities.
So the Series 2 doesn't really have that much mecha in it, but it sells like interdimensional spaceships that have main cannons that can like tear open the fabric of space-time and stuff like that.
Wow.
Sounds pretty good.
The third series is takes place 10 years afterwards.
Right.
Like in the first two series, Nanoha and Fate and them, they were like 9 years old. So you had your
oh my god.
So you had your Lolly there, but Season 3 takes place 10 years later when they're older.
Cool.
And they're members of this place called the Time Space Administration Bureau, which is like a military kind of disaster prevention force, and they police and all that stuff, so they become like military personnel instead of just plain old magic girls.
Wow.
And I'm sure Pedo Bear is sad about them being older, right?
Aww.
Actually, I like them being older.
I hope so. I would too.
What?
Yeah, like you see them as young girls before, but in Season 3 you definitely see them as like they've grown up to be fine women and stuff like that. And
oh man, fan service?
To be fine women. Fine upstanding young ladies.
So Season 3 has this mad scientist called Gel Scaglietti. He has a army of combat cyborgs.
Right.
So you got your mecha, you have your cyborgs there, and he has all these things called gadget drones, which are robots that usually get the crap kicked out of them every episode.
Right.
But yeah, so you got the combat cyborgs, which is this group of 12 different girls with different personalities and stuff. And then you have this new character. She's the main, secondary main character in Season 3. Her name is Subaru Nakajima. It's like she has your typical underdog story. She tries her best to rise up to the ranks and stuff, and turns out she's also a combat cyborg. And
right on.
And they revive this ancient battleship and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of mecha elements in it. And like I said, the creators are huge robot fans. And
sounds pretty good.
Sounds pretty cool. Actually,
I'd definitely check that out.
That's my fanboy rant. I'll fanboy about this till day I die.
You do that.
No problem.
Well, nothing wrong with that, man. It does sound intriguing. I'd like to check that out. It seems like a nice take.
Yeah, it's definitely pushing the envelope of the Magic Girl genre. It's definitely not like anything else.
Not since Magical Princess Lychee has there been a show so engaging.
Magical Princess Lychee.
Oh my god. Well, we're going to do one more round of this and then wrap it up. So for me, my last mecha show, and pretty mecha related since it's Power Armors, and that's pretty much mecha. I'm watching the little known OAV of Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I'm watching that.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've never seen it though.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It was made back in the 80s by Sunrise.
Yeah.
With mechanical designs by Studio New, aka the studio behind Macross.
Oh my god.
So unfortunately, I haven't read the novel yet, so I really can't compare. I mean, I hear it's very close to the novel. So my only thing to compare it to was the icky 1997 movie.
Oh, Paul Verhoeven.
I've never seen those movies in their entirety.
You ain't missing much.
Yeah,
so should I consider myself lucky?
Yeah,
no, you should suffer.
Well, you ain't missing much.
You should suffer like us.
I like that CG TV show they had. I watched that one, and I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I never saw it either.
But just comparing the 80s OAV to the movie, it's vastly different because obviously for the movie, for financial reasons, to cut costs, they cut out all the powered armors.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just in the movie you just have the mobile infantry. They're just running around, on foot with machine guns, fighting these giant bug things. But in the anime, they have these powered armors that they use to fight in hostile environments like Mars, and they can fly in them, and they can they've got weapons, and very, very if you like 80s retro real robot, like hardcore sci-fi stuff, then this 80s Starship Troopers OAV is definitely for you, especially since almost the entire cast is lined with Gundam voice actors from the time.
Oh, awesome.
Well, thank you, Sunrise.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
So, yeah, great show. It'd be interesting to see. Unfortunately, it's too old now to be brought over here, and there might even be some rights issues since Starship Troopers film rights are owned by Sony, and they've made 2 direct-to-video sequels to their live-action movie in addition to the CG animated TV show.
Oh, Christ.
So you'll probably never see it over on this side of the Pacific, but worth checking out if you can find it. So, Paul, your last show.
Well, the last one I'm doing right now is a show that I've watched before, but I never was able to finish, and I'm rewatching Macross 7. I was never able to finish the show. I stopped around like episode 31, 32, and I'm just rewatching that mainly because my interest got piqued because of Frontier.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to finish up something that I never, have seen all the way through. So don't want to go too much into that because I'm sure everybody knows about it. So definitely a great show. I can see, it's definitely 80s influenced. I know that much. It was a nice harping back to 80s robot shows right there with all the little character designs and all that. But that's the one I'm currently watching right now. So what's that?
I enjoyed Macross 7 actually.
I'm watching it too.
Oh, I enjoyed it up until what I saw, and for whatever reason I just stopped watching it. And no, I think it's a pretty good show. Is it the best Macross show? Probably not, but it's definitely up there.
The reason why I like it probably stems from the fact I've never seen the original, so I can't really say, oh man, this sucks in comparison or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool now watching it in conjunction with Frontier because of all the little homages to all the old Macross shows. So it really kind of got my interest back into watching the old Macrosses, because I'm sure I'm probably after this I'll probably start watching the old shows, Macross and Southern Cross and all that. So, but definitely a good little show to check out. So.
Right on. Well, I can't really say I'm watching any other shows besides the 2 I named, but I have some on the deck that I'm getting ready to watch. Full Metal Panic, and also I have I just acquired a copy of Macross 7, so that's in the queue to watch.
I'm surprised you never saw that. As big of a Macross fan that you are.
As a Macross junkie I am. Yeah, you're right. I put it off, and now I finally have the whole series at my disposal. So I'll definitely get on top of that. I need to watch all of Macross 0. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of that, and other than that, unless Area 88 happens to count, which it doesn't. That's the only other show I watched recently that remotely has that pilot and his machine motif. Good TV show, good OVA. And that's pretty much the most out of me, right?
Saddest character ever.
Saddest character ever. Shin is all right. He's just very taciturn.
Guy got crapped on him many times.
Oh man, every day.
So
making that money though.
But that's cool.
And Pete, any other suggestions from you?
Okay, I got one that I've been in the process of watching for a while now, but all the episodes are not available.
Mm-hmm.
Is Choja Riding or Riding the Superior?
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's a classic, man.
Yeah. Not the Tomino one, if that's what you're thinking of.
Oh, you mean the more recent one?
No, that's just Riding. This is Riding the Superior, which is like a Power Armor Sentai show.
You mean the 90s one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's three writings for the record for everyone. There's the original one from the 70s that Tomino directed the first half of.
Mm-hmm.
There was a 90s remake that was more power armor, and then there was the writing made by Production IG like a year ago.
Production IG?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was pretty awesome, and I actually am also watching the original Brave writing.
Right.
Nice.
So that's kind of one a little too old school for me to like really watch that too often at a time.
Oh, that's a shame.
But anyways, Riding the Superior is about this boy band actually, or they're an idol group or whatever you want to call them.
No way.
And they have the ability to transform into the Ridings, which are like power armor,
Mm-hmm.
and they fight these things called the Super Devils, who are trying to collect the I forget what these gems are called,
Right.
but they have like the signs of the zodiac on them.
Nice.
And if you collect all the gems, it revives a God Riding, which is an actual giant robot that like can destroy the universe if it's in the wrong hands.
Oh, man.
And like I like it. It's apparently people like call it the second DAG one, which is it's apparently done by like the same team, I guess.
Right.
And also has like the power armor aspect to it. I just enjoy it. Like each cast member is like their own unique individual with their own quirks, and they're just a bunch of likable guys, and it never stops. It isn't afraid to make fun of itself. But some episodes have a little extra segment at the end called Pero Riding,
Right on.
which is like they make a parody of a scene in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like in one of the earlier episodes, the main guy, his name's Hisho.
Right.
He's kind of reluctant to join the Ridings, but this other guy, I forget his name, Ace, I think his name was. He comes in, he like drags him away. It's like, come on, you're joining us and stuff, and they can like sprout wings without like putting on their power armor and fly, and they're invisible to normal people. So he like grabs them and pulls them away. He's like, oh, you're coming to join our group. So anyways, that scene in the Pero Riding, it's like
Right.
they make Ace into a homosexual. It's just like, oh, come on back to my place, and I'll show you a good time. And he's just like, let go of me. And like, so it's like the actual voice actors are doing it too.
Right.
So you can tell like they're just having fun with it. And so like I've heard a lot of criticism in it, and like some people are saying it's gayer than Wing.
Oh, ouch.
It actually isn't, because each character has a love interest of their own, like a female love interest.
Right.
And like he showed his girlfriend's actually in a coma.
Oh, man.
So like she fell off a roof. I don't think it was made clear whether it was a suicide attempt or if she just got blown off by the wind.
Right.
But he blames himself for not being able to protect her, and eventually uses that to I guess his motivation to fight the Super Devils. And there's this pop singer called Kirari, who is like reminds him of his girlfriend, even though they really don't look alike. They're like trying to force that he thinks that she looks like his comatose girlfriend there.
Right.
But they are shown to have like a connection later.
That's cool.
And and this like rival group shows up later. It's just a lot of fun. Like, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Good cast of characters, and it kind of takes its own like route somewhat. Like, they're always trying to fight for these gems, but at first they don't know about the gems. And the leader of the Super Devils, he keeps like collecting the gems, so even though they like beat the monster of the week, they're still technically losing. And eventually it reaches the point where the main bad guy gets all the gems and he revives God Riding, so they have to fight their own robot.
Oh, that sucks.
So it's a fun show that like I just enjoy watching every episode. When I see a new episode is available, I'm like, oh yes, and lots of fun.
That sounds cool, man.
It does.
Check that out too.
Even if like the CG transformation scenes are really bad, it's like that's really the only place they use CG in it. So
cool. Right on.
I think that about does it for this segment. We'll probably be revisiting it in the future in a few months and talk about a few different titles, whatever we'll be watching at that point. So we'll be right back on Gundam at MAHQ.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna clean up this mess!
Welcome back to the show that's got more class than Harvard. That's right, Gundam at MAHQ.
Oh boy.
And in this segment, we're going to be speaking on something that's near and dear to all of us, and right now it's kind of scary in this economic environment right now. But we're going to be speaking on the state of the anime industry and what it means to Mecha Anime as of today. And pretty much the topic speaks for itself. There's a lot that's been going on, a lot of changes have been going on in the anime industry in Japan and especially in America. And we're just going to get right into it. If anything, Chris, how about you lead us off?
Well, I figure, we might as well do just like a brief check-in briefly with all of the studios. We'll start off with the ones who are doing crappy and move our way to the ones who are doing better. Number one, you got Genion, which is doing about as crappy as can be because they no longer exist.
Wow.
Last fall, they sort of imploded on everybody, and they released, this last wave of titles, left a whole bunch of things hanging in mid-release, and sort of closed up shop to the point that even now you got places like Right Stuff doing fire sales trying to clear out all their stock of Genion stuff. And a lot of the problems that were brought on in the anime industry about 3 years ago, you had this glut of tons and tons and tons of titles, and at the time I was working in retail, and I could just see that you just had so much stuff competing for shelf space, and so much of it was crap. I mean, we're talking like C and D level titles here, and in part of it, a lot of it was due to Genion.
Yeah.
Genion.
Yeah.
They started off well enough, like with Tenchi Muyo, and then they moved on to shows like Trigun and Samurai Champloo and Hellsing, but then they started releasing so much like crap niche titles that like nobody was interested in.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, I got to give them credit. They did try to bring out stuff here that was against the grain, because I mean, there's a lot of studios that bring out the same kind of show over and over and over. And I own a lot of Genion series like Master Keaton and Gungrave, which is not too so against the grain. But I mean, then there's Requiem from the Darkness and shows like Human Scramble, which I'm a big fan of human interest stories like that, and just off the beaten path animes. And I give them credit for that, but financially speaking, it's a dumb idea to bring nothing but that out here.
Yeah.
When you need a show like, say, Dragon Ball Z or Naruto to really bring in the bucks so that you can bring out the kind of the off the beaten path titles.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love off the beaten path titles too, but you can't release yourself out of existence with just those titles, which is what they did.
Yeah,
it's true. Very true.
And they also priced them. Too far above than the normal titles. I mean, it was.
I think Indian prices were pretty reasonable.
$200 for Samurai Champloo.
Not now.
Yeah, I mean that was just kind of.
Yeah, their box sets were not cheap.
No, they weren't at all.
Their box sets were not cheap, but the individuals were about the same price as everything else. So that's not really a problem for me. But
yeah,
as far as releasing high-profile shows, they had a few years ago a major hit with Samurai Champloo, and that was on TV, and that's great. But then after that, they didn't really have anything else for a very long time. And then by the time they got Hellsing Ultimate, it was too little too late, especially given the very slow release of that show.
Yeah.
They picked up Black Lagoon too, and that show's pretty awesome if you haven't seen it.
But again, too little too late.
Right. I mean, Genion was definitely the one, like, when it went under, like, it was my favorite R1 company pretty much. Like, I have a bunch of their stuff, and
I have to say the same.
Like, I did like how they released some, like, they were licensing some, like, nicher titles, I guess. Like, they licensed both Type Moon animes, which I'm really into, and yes, the Tsukihime anime does exist, just to let you know. But also, like, another thing that I grieve for the most is that they licensed Nanoha before they went under, so I was really looking forward to owning that one, but alas.
I'm also pissed that they collapsed in the middle of releasing the first season of Higurashi no Nakukoroni.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that show.
Yeah, they left a lot of shows kind of unresolved, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had quite a few titles that were. I know that was one of the big things that people were, not only the fact that they went under, but the fact that people were like 2 volumes in a show.
Yeah.
And you can't get it, and who knows how that stuff's going to work out.
Yeah, they had stuff that they were in the middle of releasing, and then they had stuff that they had licensed and hadn't even gotten around to releasing. And then there's the question of, what happens to all of these shows that they had previously released, because technically they're now out of print. So I don't doubt that somebody will come along and do a license rescue on, say, a big title like Hellsing or Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff out there that, once it's gone, and you're probably never going to see that stuff again. So
Yeah, makes me sad.
Well, the thing with Gundam is that, remember when this all first came about, is that their marketing department, I think it was, or like the actual department that handled actually releasing and putting the DVDs on the shelf, is what, like, they lost it or whatever. They had to lay it out, and they're actually going to turn to ADV to do all that stuff.
Yeah, but then that deal fell through.
Yeah, it fell through, and it drifted off into the wind kind of thing there. So something's kind of weird. Like, some of these series, work is still being done on them. Like, as I mentioned Black Lagoon, that was airing on TV, and the entire series actually aired without, like, the DVD release. Like, it was still dubbed and everything, and it was aired on TV. But you won't be able to buy it on DVD. And as I mentioned, Nanoha, they mentioned when the first one entered, that the studio that was handling it, they were still subbing it, and they actually have a dub cast for it and everything, and they were working on the dubbing, but it's just like nobody can really. There's nobody actually to release this stuff.
Wow.
So it's weird that they're still working on these series, but they have no reason.
Well, it'll probably take a while.
They might be trying to market them to somebody like, hey, Bandai or Funimation, you want to buy this show from us?
Well, you got to remember, too, just because when things go into receivership, sometimes it takes a while for that stuff to be liquidated. So I'm sure we'll probably see it, probably not going to see it for a while, because that's their assets, and that's all they have left.
Yeah.
So they have to liquidate everything to pay their creditors and all that. So
$5 a DVD.
Yeah.
Well, we should point out that Genion is not going out of business per se. They're just not releasing anime right now. I think what they're probably going to be doing is moving towards just sort of being an intermediary, the way that Karakawa, who have the license for Lucky Star and Haruhi, and they released them in conjunction with Bandai, and they released Full Metal Panic Second Raid in conjunction with Funimation, but they didn't actually do the work themselves. They're just sort of like a sub-licenser. Yeah. So maybe Genion might be moving towards that.
Kind of like what manga is now?
No, manga still releases stuff on their own, under their own label. But Karakawa doesn't release... They don't have production facilities. They just, release in conjunction with Right Stuff and Funimation and Bandai. They don't do any production work themselves. They farm it out to these other studios, and then they share profits.
I see what you mean.
So maybe Genion will do that with this whole catalog of titles they have. But moving on, since we got a few more studios. Speaking of ADV, they're certainly not doing very well right now.
Oh, man.
I think they are also, even more so than Genion, to blame for the situation that the anime industry is in right now in America, because they also released so much crap.
If
that was flooding the shelves, and they did it to a higher level than Genion.
True. If Genion was releasing their box sets for too high a price, ADV was releasing their box sets too rapidly after the last volume.
Exactly. You
buy the whole series
for pennies, for a whole lot less than you paid in individual volumes. There was almost no incentive to get the show when it was out. You just knew ADV was going to push out that box set a month after the last volume, so you didn't even want to buy the individual, DVDs.
It was absolutely insane. You spend almost a year, you buy like 7 volumes individually, and then within a month of the last volume, there's a thin pack for like $40. Yet you spent about $150. It's like, whoa, what the hell did I even buy a damn thing for?
You feel like a first-class fool.
So then people stopped buying the singles, which does, hurt companies, because people always say, "Oh, I'll just wait for the." For the box set, but if you don't buy the singles over time, that still hurts the companies too, because rather than getting a sort of continuous cash flow from customers, they're just getting a little bit at the end of the cycle of that title.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the second tier release. It's not the main release where they expect to make their lion's share of dough on what they spent advertising dollars on in magazines and whatnot, and they're not selling.
Yeah.
So when the second release comes out, where they're going to make that additional money, that's the one that's really selling, and their main release they're eating the cost on, because they're sitting on retailer shelves not doing anything. The retailer gets pissed off and doesn't want to carry the products. Wasn't there a falling out between ADV and Best Buy or something like that? I'm not sure what.
I don't know, but I don't know, but like I said, having been in retail at the time, I could just see there was just so much crap coming onto the shelves, and it's like, if even I don't know what the names of half of these shows are, why is like Joe Anime fan gonna know it?
Yeah.
And then they had their manga line, which was even worse because they just released tons and tons of like nameless manga that nobody knew what the hell this stuff was.
Yeah.
I wish they'd resume their manga though. Like they were putting out Jinky Extend, and I have the first 3 volumes, and they're not producing anymore, and I want more.
Exactly, that's the other problem. Then they left all these fans who did actually buy some of these titles, just hanging. They had their toy thing for a while that failed. They had a music thing that failed.
Yeah.
ADV is the prime example of what happens that, rather than trying to consolidate your place and your hold in the industry, you try to expand way too fast, way too much, and you get your hands into too many things, and it bites you in the ass.
And the anime network's got to be costing them a fortune.
They discontinued the linear channel. Now it's just anime. It's just on demand.
I've never even seen the linear channel.
They killed New Type USA and replaced it with some other magazine.
Yeah. With pigs.
They've just been shutting down a lot of stuff. Obviously, there was the big thing about a few months ago, that whole scandal of, controversy, more appropriate, when a whole bunch of titles disappeared from their website, including Gurren Lagann and Keroro Gunso, and of course, we saw a few months later Gurren Lagann get snatched by Bandai.
Oh yeah,
which really makes you wonder what happened there, because nobody wants to talk about it. And my theory is, because I have this theory. ADV, they were really hemorrhaging about 3 years ago. Then they got a whole bunch of venture capital from Sojitz in Japan, which they used to license a bunch of shows like, Sergeant Frog and Gurren Lagann. But then they kept kind of releasing the same crap they were releasing before. So I'm wondering if perhaps Sojitz maybe had some buyer's remorse about their investment into ADV. Maybe said, we want our money back.
Oh my God.
Because Sergeant Frog, they've been doing dub work on it, but the show has disappeared, and they don't even talk about that show anymore.
Dang.
They had done dub work again, and they had a cast, and they dubbed a few episodes, I think at least 6 episodes, and then Bandai scooped it up. So losing Gurren Lagann, I think, is probably one of the worst things that could happen to ADV, because you know how ADV is about pimping out Gainax titles. Because that those Gurren Lagann DVDs, not to say that Bandai won't do this too, but those Gurren Lagann DVDs would have plastered all over them, front, back, left, and right, from the creators of Evangelion, from the studio that brought you Evangelion, from the guy
greatest show ever
who knows a guy who worked on Evangelion,
from a guy who was an intern,
the show endorsed by Jesus.
I mean, the second best anime series of all time.
Oh my God.
Well, that they would have just been pimping up that Gainax Evangelion left and right. And that would have been a major cash title for them, and then they go and lose it.
They would have been.
So I can imagine that they're hurting.
Yeah, it's like I think that's what helped FLCL to also sell, right? Because they would put that on the box as well. Although FLCL is a great show in its own right, but on the box it says it from the creators of Evangelion. What's that?
It's better than Ava.
Yep.
Well, FLCL, for the record, was released by Sync Point. So
yeah, exactly, by Sync Point, but it helped that show to sell.
But still, they still use that marketing of from the creators of Evangelion.
Karekano too from Sync Point, and that probably helped that show to sell too, because anybody who was interested in Ava gave that show a whirl. And
Karekano was right stuff, actually.
Karekano, thank you. And I'm the number one slayer of Japanese words, but my personal gripe with ADV, and this is coming from speaking with retailers, mom and pop retailers that sell anime. They used to support the mom and pop retailers full force. They used to, give them deals, used to, go out of the way to help them. And then I guess after ADV, there was a time where ADV was on top of their game, probably around the time where New Type magazine started, and a lot of their products were selling. When they had started branching out 3 years ago, they were more akin to sell to major retailers than to help out the mom and pop stores. I mean, just speaking with a lot of retailers, they just didn't have a lot of kind things to say about ADV or Tokyo Pop, which is another label that fell off the map too, if you haven't noticed, except for manga, that is. But for selling anime,
well, even then, that's a whole other story. We'll get to them in a little while.
We definitely will. But yeah, that's my personal gripe. Maybe now they'll realize that the big retailers who have cut back on their shelf space for anime, if you go to Best Buy nowadays, it's not nearly as prolific as it used to be. It used to take up at least a whole row and a half. Now you'd be lucky for it to take up a whole row. And I just think that's just, case in point. You never you never cut ties with the people that helped build you up as a company.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to say. But Neo, you have anything to add to that, or anything else to add?
I think they just got caught up in releasing Ava 15 different times, and they found out that once everybody owned the show 3 times already, that the 5th time that you released it, nobody wanted to buy it anymore.
Dang. They're still going at it. They're doing the anniversary set.
Oh, jeez.
Now, Chris,
I'm fine with my platinum edition.
Me too.
Now, Chris, do they have? And I hate to say this, but because I hate giving this show plugs, but is the Ava movie been licensed? The ones that are shown?
It has not, and I would imagine that Gainax would want a whole pot of gold for that series.
Yeah.
So I imagine that nobody's going to touch that right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I thought that would be an instant ADV thing. So they must really be kind of hurting.
Well, back in the day, keep in mind also that ADV never even licensed the original Evangelion movies. Those were scooped up by manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ADV, they said at the time that this was back in like 1999 that for the amount of money that Gainax wanted for those 2 movies, ADV went and licensed 6 26-episode TV shows.
Yeah.
And I imagine that wouldn't have changed because Gainax, more than even ADV, has been pimping out Evangelion down our throats for like the last nearly 13 years. So I'm sure that they would want hundreds.
Personally, I think there's a good reason for that.
Which would be?
What?
That it's good.
It's not that good.
It's not the greatest thing since sliced bread.
It's not the greatest thing.
I think it's still pretty good. I still rewatch it every now and again, and it's still good stuff.
No.
Of course, I'm one of the few people who actually understood everything that went on in that show.
Boo.
But
I like Ava too. In the end, I can't hate on it as much as some people, but I do like the manga more.
Yeah.
Out of everything, the manga to me is the best rendition of that show. But that's a whole nother discussion for me right there.
It's a good show, don't get me wrong, but it's not a franchise. It's the same basic thing, just being retold over and over and over and over again.
As much time as they spent on remaking it, they could have made it a franchise a long time ago.
Right.
And instead, they just decided to just
create a whole new show.
Yeah, that too. I'm right there.
How many times can you retell the story?
Anyways, on the whole, I like ADV. Their website sales sometimes are like really awesome. I mean, I got the perfect collection of Dygard for $10.
Right on.
I got Dunbine for $5 a volume, so I ain't complaining. But
Yeah.
the fact that they're doing those fire sales in and of itself is not a good sign because the stuff's not selling.
Yeah, it's never good.
It's good for us though, because when I bought the fin packs for Gravion and Godanner too. One gripe I have about ADV is that their dubs are all in-house, so a lot of their stuff is like the same 5 voice actors for every title.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like
they branched out since then.
No.
Yeah, like nowadays, like their Tokyo Imagine release, they didn't have that many of their usual suspects, but like every other dub is Chris Patton, Greg Ayers, Lucy Christensen,
Monaco Rial,
Vic Mignogna.
Yeah.
They also tend to be a little freewheeling with some of their English dubs.
I like that though. I like when they can actually branch out and kind of improvise. I don't mind that so much because it makes it a little different from the actual
like
real
the
regular
Gravion
version.
dub was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
And so was the Dygard dub, and on top of that, the Golden Boy dub was far better than watching the actual Japanese version.
Blasphemy.
So I'm cool with that as long as the content stays the same.
Yeah.
The overall, but go ahead.
Unless you're Ghost Stories.
Oh no!
Well, let's not get into that one. So
they took way too much liberty on that. But
moving on from ADV, one that I am eager to get to, Bandai Visual USA.
Woo, man!
And while I really hate to kick someone while they're down,
boy, they down.
They're down, and if you could see me, I am kicking them right now.
Boy, and they're unconscious too.
Kicking them right in the stomach because you know what, Bandai Visual, I have no sympathy for you because everything that is happening to you now, you did it all to yourself.
All to yourself.
These guys.
Please have a little sympathy for my glass ego here.
No, you're the clown who went and bought Super Robot Wars. You have you brought into their Kool-Aid and their disgustingly overpriced releases. Bandai Visual USA.
I suffered to my weakness.
He's got first American printing.
These guys, they come in. They did that first release with the Pat Labor movies, and it was great stuff. It was redubbed, reasonably priced for the standard edition, and then you had your collector's edition, but there was a lot of stuff in that collector's edition.
Nice.
And then they started doing all this junk of like 2 episodes per DVD, 3 episodes per DVD, subtitled only, $50 or $60 a pop.
Oh,
what the hell is this? I mean, they just have no concept of the American anime industry, and they really believed that Americans would be willing to pay, for these low episode count, no dubbed, high-priced DVDs that are the exact same format as the Japanese market.
Yeah, I mean,
they really had no understanding that the American market is completely different from the Japanese one, and that you can't force the market strategies of one onto another.
Well, they
onto the other.
On top, you got...
They kind of understood the one market that they were really targeting, which is the weeaboo market.
Suckers.
Those people that think everything Japan is superior and that everything America is garbage. And
even if you're that weebo, how much money do you have?
Weebo.
Yeah, so like that's kind of who they were targeting. It's like, they wanted people to go, oh man, it's the exact same as Japan, so that must mean it's like 10 times better kind of thing.
Well, on top of that Weibo market, they're the ones that are downloading, and they're downloading the shows online, and they're not even bothered buying the American release. I mean, F the American release when I can get it for free online.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. And I can if it's going to come the exact same way on DVD as it is when I'm watching a fan sub. I mean, what's the incentive? I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, I support buying DVDs, but, I don't support buying DVDs that are twice the amount with half as much content. F that. I'm not down with that.
Which is why I didn't buy a single Bandai Visual DVD and said I would outweight them, and lo and behold, I won.
Yeah. I give you all the credit in the world, man, and I commend you on buying those DVDs, and I think that's cool because, I mean, you're a fan of those shows, and you went on your way to get those. And you were a smart shopper, too. You went online and you found the best prices, and you grabbed them up for what they were.
Yeah.
But it's like most people see them on the shelf like I did and said no.
Well, you kind of can't see them on the shelf now because Gundam was actually their releasing partner. They're the ones who handled distributing.
Right.
Yeah, and they never bothered to get a new distribution partner.
Mm-hmm. So now you can only order their stuff from websites.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Yeah. What bothered me about Bandai Visual, aside from, their obstinance about, doing this Japanese release style, is they have a lot of stuff that I really do want to buy.
Yeah.
I would give them the money for it if it was reasonably priced and, reasonably released with episode counts. Believe me, I really want to buy Super Robot Wars. I like that show.
Same here.
I want to have the show and the OAV. I want to have Igloo. I want to have Gunbuster and Diebuster. I don't want to pay, an arm and a leg and half my retirement fund to get those shows and have them take up 3 entire shelves.
You could get Gunbuster easily enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my Gunbuster box set for $30
at Best Buy. Right?
I know.
Apparently they mispriced it or something, but that's all good to me.
Oops.
But I also their release of the Gunbuster and Diebuster movie that actually had enough content to warrant the near $100 it was.
Oh my God.
You had the two movies. And they each had a booklet with tons of background information and this timeline that I had no idea about this stuff existed. Like how Japan bought Hawaii from the Americans.
Right.
And then later on, America attacks Pearl Harbor.
Oh wow.
And then it kicks off this Japan-America war where Japan actually beats America and they pretty much become the rulers of the world. That's the thing behind Gunbuster. And it's I didn't know any of this stuff. I had to buy the book, the release to get it. And they had all these fact cards and stuff that you can put together, and it's this one huge size comparison chart. And it I got the limited edition, so it came with a Noriko and Nono figurines.
Mm-hmm.
And figurines normally go up for $50 anyway. So
damn, for $30? That's you got that all for $30?
No. That I got the Gunbuster box set for $30, which didn't really have that extra stuff. But the movie releases, they had all that extra stuff, and then together it was near $100.
Well, that's fine if you. That's fine. That's something different because that's a premium release.
And I thought the release of the Super Robot Wars OVA was fine. It had the entire OVA on there for $50. I think I got it for 40 something though.
Wow, $50 for 3 episodes.
Well, still, it had this pretty thick booklet of all this stuff, and gave us plenty of line art for the mecha section too. And
he still is not worth that much money.
I know, but it's once I got those first 2 volumes of Divine Wars, it's I saw them and they were pretty cheap. It's oh man, it's just cheap right now, relatively cheap to the
how they bait you in.
Right, so I kind of I saw it and I couldn't resist, so I got once I started, I might as well go for the gusto, and the volume 7 is going to be released in a few days, available. like they're not liquidating until September, so I hope this means they are going to be finished releasing it, because the last volume should be out in August.
Yeah, we should mention that Bandai Visual is shutting down, and they are being merged into Bandai Entertainment.
Good.
So that's good. Yeah.
The smarter of the two companies.
They're not disappearing. It's not clear what will happen to all of the titles they were releasing, but hopefully Bandai Entertainment will reprice them and re-release them.
Well, Neo, what's your
they'll
take
get
on the whole
re-released under at a cheaper price?
Yeah,
maybe. Like we can't really say that for sure. I mean, maybe like Bandai Visual now be like kind of like a subsidiary, like how like Super Robot Wars and Gunbuster was actually under this different label called Hanaemize, and that's like all the Hanaemize titles had that marketing structure, so maybe like they could adopt that. I doubt they will, but like it still could be like a separate sub-only kind of release label that they could use.
Yeah, I don't mind sub-only as long as it's reasonable.
Neither do I, but like I love my dubs. Like
yeah.
If I buy a DVD, I'll only watch it dubbed, or I'll watch it dubbed initially anyways.
Yeah, me too.
But if it's like sub-only, like I don't mind.
Yeah, true. I mean, 'cause that's how we see a lot of shows anyway.
Though something that bugs me is like, maybe I shouldn't get into this, but like the people who are like, oh, they have no dubs. Yes, they're great, they're awesome, kind of thing. Like the dub haters are like,
it's this,
oh, you try to translate into English, it's like blasphemy kind of thing. It's like
it's this.
Those people, it's just you have the subtracks anyways. Don't bother with the dubs. It's not like the Second Coming of Christ that they've started not putting dubs on things.
But that's foolish, because I mean,
you shouldn't care about that anyways.
Exactly, and I think one of the boons of the DVD format is that you have the option of having more than one language, and on top of that, if you want to introduce the show to somebody who's not used to watching anime, even though the dub may not be superior, I mean that may be one of the easier ways of turning someone else onto a show if they can just if they can watch it in English as opposed to watching subtitles.
The English market, it's got to be in English.
Yeah, some people don't even watch anime because they're primarily subtitled. I'm sorry, Neil, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's cool. But any other what about some of the other companies, Chris? Because I guess we're hating too much on Bandai Visual.
Yeah, let's move on quickly. Bandai Entertainment. I think they in the last few months they've had a pretty big turnaround because for a while there, for like a good year or two or three, the releases had started to become substandard.
Mm-hmm.
They had all sorts of defects. They were doing cheap boxes. Like if you look at their original MAHQ box, which was just this disgusting orange thing. They just seemed to really lose their quality control. And they were just releasing some crap titles there for a while. Then for a while it's like all they were releasing was just old things under their like Anime Legends label.
Right.
But now they've popped back with this 1, 2, 3 punch of Code Geass, which is of course now on TV on Adult Swim, Gundam 00, which they're trying to get on TV in America, and Gurren Lagann, which they've already confirmed will be on Sci-Fi Channel.
Heck yeah.
So they've just scooped up 3 of the top mecha series and just some of the top anime series period of the last few years that appeal to wide swaths of people. And apparently Haruhi Suzumiya did very well for them.
Yeah.
I
got all those DVDs.
I'm sure you did. I imagine that same crowd will go for Lucky Star, and they just seem to be bouncing back.
I'm glad to hear it.
And now they're jumping into the Blu-ray market, so they are quickly emerging from being sort of like to back to being one of the stellar companies. You guys have any quick thoughts on Bandai Entertainment?
Well, they'll probably end up being the strongest company at the end, because if they're going into the Blu-ray, because everything now is HD and everybody is on the HD bandwagon, the Blu-ray bandwagon. So I think anybody that any of those companies that is the first to do that, it's going to really help out, because the people that are buying anime are the same people that have PS3s. And PS.
Well, they're not the first, because Funimation's already done some Blu-rays.
Yeah, but I mean, they have such a giant marketing machine behind them.
That is true.
That I mean, I think it'll help, but I'm definitely excited to see what they had. Like I was with you, Chris. It just seemed like they were re-releasing all the old shows that I already have. Yeah. And just nothing was coming out. But it'll be nice to see when they release Geass and Gurren Lagann and even 00. So that'll be kind of nice.
I like how.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I like how they're having more episode counts per DVD. I think I read like DS is gonna have like
9
eps per release, and
yeah,
it's
on
still
2
like,
discs.
and it's still like $40 or something for the standard edition. Like that's just brilliant. Like, or maybe not brilliant from like a marketing standpoint, but for me, like I love to see that, I mean, especially considering what other stuff I'm buying.
Well, that is the marketing idea, and we'll get to that in a minute because we're going to do Funimation next.
Right.
It's my favorite label as of right now. I think they're licensing great shows, and I look forward to seeing what they have in store next for us. And I'm right there with you. I like the episode counts and the lower price, pricing on it, mainly for the economic environment right now, where even driving to work is more expensive now than it's ever been. We don't have the money to really go out and buy anything frivolous anymore, and to see that they're trying to accommodate towards that and to give us value for our anime purchases, I think that's outstanding. Keep it up, Bandai. I look forward to seeing what else you got for us.
So that brings us next to Funimation, and it's kind of interesting watching how, like about maybe 10 years ago, or even as recent as 7 years ago, these people were reviled as like the most hated company in the anime industry, just the way that 4Kids is reviled now, for a lot of the same reasons.
Yeah.
But then Funimation, they went and they transformed themselves into not just a real anime company, but one of the premier ones. And for years, they've had so many major releases of stuff like Fullmetal Alchemist and all these different shows, and they've sort of become like one of the fan favorite companies with the way they release their shows. And one of the things that I think they're trailblazing on now is this concept of box set releases, because it's for years people have been complaining without really knowing the reality of the market of, why do I have to pay like $30 per volume of this anime show when I can get like for $40 like a whole season of Law and Order on DVD.
Yeah.
They don't understand that, the American studios have already made their money on these shows, and releasing them on home video is just more profit.
Yeah.
They don't understand the fact that an anime company that has licensed a show and is releasing it here, they have to price things the way they do and release them the way they do to recoup all of those costs from licensing, translation, dubbing, and then still make profit to make that series have been a worthwhile license. So they totally take it for granted. That being said, for years you can't ignore this move towards TV box sets on DVD. So, these anime companies, they sort of have to adapt and respond, and it's something that the Japanese have been resistant to, because unless it's for old shows from like the pre-DVD era, you don't see box sets in Japan.
Yeah.
Not often.
You see single volume releases.
On top of that, American shows make a great deal of their money from just the advertising airing when the show first
That's what I mean.
On.
They already made their money.
Yeah,
they already made their money.
When in Japan, now they've come to depend on foreign markets to get all their money back on a show. So, I mean, they depend on licensing now, as opposed in the past when that wasn't a factor. Now that shows cost so much to make, they're depending on those foreign dollars. They're depending on a show getting licensed. That's why a lot of shows are a lot more transferable from the Japanese market to say American or a foreign market because of that reason. And it's a completely different scenario. I'm kind of pissed that sometimes anime costs so much to license, but I can understand it now, and I just had to deal with it.
Funimation's also done a really good job of having different types of shows. They don't kind of
they
don't kind of typecast their releases.
Even
they have a quite a bit, because I actually thinking about it, the last few things that I've bought
same here
have all been Funimation.
Yeah.
And they kind of range the spectrum between different genres within anime. So
even Adam Sheehan, during that little interview that we the Q&A session that we had in episode 12 or episode 11, he had explained that they go out of the way not to license the same kind of show over and over and over. They try to mix it up, and I think that's a very smart approach that they take in order to keep to keep people's interest in their collective library.
Definitely. And I think that Funimation here, they're being the trailblazer with these box sets for new shows, because you look at, say, a show like Aquarian, and that's a show that I don't think would sell very well if it was 6 individual volumes released over the course of, say, half a year or a year. But you slap 13 episodes onto a DVD box set, release it for like $50, that entices a lot more people.
Yeah.
They're doing this with all sorts of other shows. You know, they're doing One Piece now from the very beginning, uncut, and I picked up the first 13 episodes in a box set for about $50. It's a great deal. Other new shows like Romeo and Juliet that they picked up from Gonzo, they said that they plan to release that in 2 box sets. So the box set thing you see is really catching on, because now Bandai is doing the same thing, like we mentioned a few minutes ago with their release of Code Geass.
Nice.
And they're doing the same thing with Gurren Lagann, and they're releasing 9 episodes
right.
Per set. So I think this is becoming the future of the anime industry, that for anime to survive, we're going to see these box set releases or these collections rather than the individual volumes. You're going to start to see that, I think, over the next few years slowly fade away until eventually it's gone.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, if anything, the only thing I can think of that's left is Viz. Although
I didn't get my funny 2 cents in.
Go, please do. Sorry.
But your opinion doesn't matter anyway, so
You can ignore me.
I am such a jerk.
Okay, well, Funimation has definitely come a long way when they were just releasing Dragon Ball Z with its goofy-ass dub that they recast like 5 times during the entire run. And, like, they're definitely, like, they've come a long way. They've definitely stepped up. And I know a few people that kind of don't like the liberties they take with the dub script.
Yeah.
But as we kind of touched on earlier, it's like they're still like keeping like the story, but but maybe they
but branching out a little bit.
Just change the dialogue a little bit, just to like kind of spice it up a little bit, I guess.
That's why I love their Yu Yu Hakusho dub. I'm a big fan of that one. But that to me. Anyway, but yeah, you're right. I love that they are able to put their own spin on a show.
Like we were saying, different genres. Like just look at their library. They got like Hell Girl, and then they got Shuffle, and then they're getting Claymore, and then you have like Aquarion. It's just you got a lot to choose from, and like I bought my Aquarion box set sitting on my shelf over there. I love that thing.
Hey,
there's just like $50. It's like, come on, you can't get much better than this.
No.
So I heard they're releasing a D Gray Man on single, so I kind of wish they'd go to the box set approach of that, but I guess if they did, they'd kind of run out of episodes fast, because it's one of those never-ending shonen series, anyways.
Not only that, but as has been said in interviews, there was an interview with Gen Fukunaga, the CEO of Funimation, when he was talking about this box set strategy. In some cases, the Japanese licensors won't let them release it in box sets.
Yeah.
True.
And we also have to keep in mind with D Gray Man, they only licensed the first 51 episodes.
Right.
So they're probably going to want to experiment with that, and they might do box sets later on. I mean, just look at Viz, how they started releasing Bleach in volumes and then box sets. So I think in the case of D Gray Man, it probably really depends on if TMS said to them, like, we don't want you to release box sets. If we don't have them over here, we don't want you doing them. So I would think that given that, they're doing box sets for as much as they can now, and Fukunaga said, the only time we won't do is when we can't do it as stipulated by the license, I would think that this is a license stipulation that they can't do it.
Right. So like Funny's definitely probably the smartest company out there, is that they're molding themselves to be more customer friendly.
Yeah, and I think they very smartly avoided, because they started becoming very big once they became a big anime company, they very cleverly avoided the trap that ADV fell into.
It's just picking up everything under the sun.
Yeah, Funimation, they never license any, you don't see any like B or C titles from Funimation. They go after things they know will be successful.
Right.
That I think is their strength. And since Solbro mentioned Viz, we might as well wrap up with.
I commend Viz. They're able to integrate their Shonen Jump label into from manga to anime, and now they're licensing all their shonen, all the animes having to do with Shonen Jump. I know that DBZ was a big success. I'm sorry, I'm not DBZ, but Naruto was a big success for them. Death Note is now, and other shows. Bleach, of course, and just like you said, they've released them single first, edited, and then they release them uncut in box sets later on, and so they're catering to the younger fan and the hardcore anime fan at the same time. I got to give them credit. That's all I got to say about Viz.
Well, not all their titles. I don't think there's an edited version of Bleach.
Yeah, I don't think
there
so.
isn't? Oh, okay.
No.
I'll take that back.
No, I think it's just the uncut. The edited stuff, that's with Naruto.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And briefly when they were releasing One Piece on behalf of 4Kids, but that no longer exists. So
Thank God.
my thing about Viz is, they're starting to expand now, but for the longest time, they pretty much just stuck to their manga offerings, and then they would stick to like just one cash cow, and then just ride that cash cow until it was totally dry. I mean, God knows how long with Ranma. They rode on frickin' Ranma to release that frickin' show. Then after that, Inuyasha. Now they're doing Naruto and Bleach. So they just sort of tend to stick to just this shonen stuff, and specifically Shonen Jump stuff. Not that that's bad, but, you're not going to see huge variety or a huge lineup of titles with Viz. And hey, if that's what keeps them successful, then, do it. Because they certainly have that cross-promotion down-packed completely of the Shonen Jump manga and then the Shonen Jump anime. So that's what works for them, more power to them.
Yeah, I think, just to kind of quickly sum that up, I think they basically are like Funimation, where they're kind of creating their market and kind of probably using a lot of customer feedback, because I mean a lot of the things that both Viz and Funimation's done, I mean these are things that you've heard people complain about for so long. Box sets and uncut, why is it always cut up and all this stuff. So I'm not a big, I don't have a lot of Viz in my collection, but I do know, I've seen a lot of their shows, and they're definitely, they're definitely, they have some good shows, but I'm with you guys where it is basically the same formula. It's just a different character, but just same old formula: guy, angry guy, girl that loves him, unrequited love, bad guy, lots of action, wash, rinse, repeat.
Shonen series aren't that big on romance, though.
Well, I'm talking unrequited love.
There's a little in that, I guess, but
not, yeah.
In regards to their audience.
Yeah, so, but
I read a lot of shonen stuff.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Your 2 cents, Peter, so you can't accuse us of ignoring you?
Yeah, like I said, I read a lot of shonen stuff. Like I have a subscription to Shonen Jump, and I kind of
it's good stuff.
Forget why I have it, but like it comes once a month, and it's just something to wind down and read with. So I'm more familiar with Viz for their manga offerings.
Yeah.
And like there's still good stuff. Like I like a good shonen series now again. Like I watch Bleach. I don't watch Naruto, but I watch some of the other stuff. And their anime is like kind of weird because I get they're releasing all this shonen stuff, but then like I have Great Dan Gaio, and that's from Viz. And it's like, what the heck is Viz doing with Great Dan Gaio?
What indeed?
Well, that was really.
If you want to know what I'm doing with Great Dan Gaio, they were like $5 each in a bargain bin. So I'm like, oh hey, cheap anime, why not?
Why not?
Viz did release like a box set only of Buzo Rankin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like they didn't release singles for that one.
And they do that. They do that every once in a while too. So I got to give them credit on that too, where they just blow a whole show out in just one box set, as opposed to just individually releasing. I guess they work with focus groups on that or something, or it's just a decision inherent. But anything else to add about Viz at all?
There's 2 anime studios out there that are still left, but we might as well just mention them, but there's not really any point in discussing them.
Go ahead.
Number 1 being Animigo.
Yeah.
Great old school company. I absolutely love them for their initial release of Macross, which I still have on my shelf and still adore. And, I love they're releasing live-action samurai stuff like Zatoichi, but, they pretty much slowed down. They finally released all of Urusei Yatsura after, 20 years, and they're only doing a little bit of stuff now with anime, so they were never really much of a big industry mover. They were always a boutique company.
Right.
So that's Animigo. And then Tokyo Pop, not much worth mentioning there because they got out of the anime business years ago.
Yeah, they're big just manga, really.
Even now, their manga, they're doing some cutbacks, but we still have that last question to address of what does it mean for Mecha Anime? So my 2 cents on that is, Mecha Anime in America has always been a niche thing. There's pockets of nostalgia titles that will always perform well, like Voltron and Transformers and Robotech, but for the most part, Mecha is just not big here. Gundam Wing was a big hit 8 years ago, but that really never carried through, and now here we are 8 years later. I think there's always a possibility that it could turn around in the slight, now that we have these three heavy hitters of Geass, Gurren Lagann, and Double O coming out. But long term, I really don't see Mecha becoming as big here in America as it always has been in Japan, because it's just such a uniquely Japanese thing. This fascination with robots that here is not quite the same.
The West has kind of been getting into that. You got the Transformers movie, and then you got Iron Man, so maybe... Hopefully we'll get more mecha-orientated because of stuff like that.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with Chris. I think the only thing that could probably help the mecha genre right now, especially in America, is that three of the, probably the hottest show for the last 2 years is, people talk about is Code Geass. And I'm sure that hopefully because people watch that, maybe they say, oh, I like this. Maybe there's some other things that maybe this director did or this production company. That's the only thing you could kind of think of, maybe like a trickle-down effect. But it is such a strictly Japanese genre in anime. I mean, it's as much as there's such great shows out there, it's going to be hard for it to overtake, like fighting shows and the little action adventure kind of fantasy stories. So, but like I said, hopefully with maybe Code Geass and when Double O comes out, we'll get a little bit of a trickle down effect, because it seems like people are kind of yearning for more, and those shows have. I think they've kind of revitalized anime, because for the last 2-3 years, there's really been kind of a drop off in what people have been putting out. So maybe that'll raise the bar and renewed interest. So, but that's my 2 cents.
I think so long as we have Bandai Entertainment over there, they'll keep releasing Mecha Anime.
Oh yeah.
Bandai has always been mecha toy centered kind of thing.
Very true.
Yeah. So
as long as at the very least, as long as they're around, we'll have Mecha.
Cool.
Well, that eases my fears.
Solbro, any thoughts on that?
I do think that the industry lost its window for it when Gundam Wing aired and fell out of the public eye. If they really had pressed it, if they put more shows out there on, say, Toonami at the time that were mech related, just kind of bridge the gap between that and Mobile Suit Gundam, I think it would have kind of stayed in the public eye a little bit more. That doesn't mean the window's totally closed. I think the 80s was the best time for it, but since there was no home video market then, it's kind of a moot point. But given the success of Code Geass, I hope that Code Geass really opens that door again and gets people's interest back into mecha anime, so that we can get more on TV and more out there in the video market. I'll just keep my fingers crossed and see what happens. I'll just keep observing and supporting it with this show and just going out there buying the DVDs. If anything, we'll probably touch upon this subject again in a future segment too, but we'll be back in just a moment with more Gundam at MAHQ.
He'll keep calling me. He'll keep calling me until I come over. He'll make me feel guilty. This is ridiculous, okay? I'll go. Damn it!
Welcome back to Gundam at MAHQ. This is one of your hosts, Neo, and we're going to be covering the long-awaited, long-anticipated topic of Char Aznable. Not. Psych. No, we're sorry about that. We'll get to that down the road, but we're just going to continue on Gundam Round-up. This will be the 4th installment of Gundam Round-up. As you know, that we're doing these during production order, so we've already covered First Gundam, we've covered Zeta, we've covered Double Zeta, and now we're doing the first original movie release, which is Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack. And I guess this came about halfway through. They were greenlit halfway through Double Zeta, so I know that there was changes with the Double Zeta story, and we discussed that during that topic. And even Chris was saying to us earlier that there's some changes halfway through. I guess a lot of changes through Char's Counterattack compared to what they originally had planned. So, anything important there, Chris, or just little nuances that they took care of?
Some obvious things, stuff that you see in the novelizations. You've got a couple of novelizations. There's Beltorshika's Children. There's High Streamer, which has mobile suits. But in Beltorshika's Children, you had some pretty notable differences. Number one, there is no Chan.
Yeah.
And Amuro's still been involved with her ever since they sort of hooked up in Zeta.
Right.
And off the top of my head,
not too much else.
There are some significant things like the fate of Quest Pariah and who does her in.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. So that's a significant thing. But reference website Library of Londinian seems to be down, and they kind of have a little summary of Beltorshika's Children, which I didn't save to my computer. So
okay, that's okay.
But let's stick to what did come out in the anime.
Yeah, no problem. But I guess my first exposure of it was when it came out on Cartoon Network,
right.
When it was a big deal, and it was like, wow, this is a really this looks incredible, because some of the standout features that I like about the movie is the way it looks. The action sequences are incredible.
Yeah.
When you're introduced to that first fight on the asteroids there, it's just amazing. You get to see Char and Amuro 5-6 years later after Zeta,
right? And
Char's basically taken over the mantle of Neo Zeon and is basically holding the Earth hostage. So, but a lot of good animation, a lot of good fight sequences. My only complaint that I would have with it is the story is kind of a little lost in some parts. It seems like the story should have been more an OVA, in my opinion, than just a one-shot movie. I think that story would have been better suited for some type of 3 or 6 episode OVA than what they did. So,
I agree with you on that one.
But any thoughts, Chris, on Char's Counterattack? Likes, dislikes?
No thoughts at all.
No thoughts.
No. No.
I have a question for you though, Chris. Do Char and Amuro actually die at the end?
No, they don't. They both survived, and there was a sub-universal transport, and Char, his spirit crossed over into the Cosmic Era universe and was reborn as Gilbert Durandal.
Oh, okay.
And Amuro's spirit crossed over into Anno Domini and was reborn as Ribbons Almac.
Wow.
So there you go. Finally, the question has been answered.
Thank you with that.
End of story.
Well said. That explains a whole lot.
Really? I heard that Char and Amuro realized their undying love for each other and eloped somewhere.
How did I know you were going to say that?
What, they retired in the Side 7 or something?
Something like that.
That's the slash fic.
Where it all began.
Raise a family.
But silliness aside, go ahead, Chris.
Anyway, given that it's a 2-hour movie and that it sort of emerged from parts of it at least being the original end of Double Zeta, I think it does well for what it is. It's got fantastic animation, great epic score, great mobile suit combat. I like seeing the return of Amuro as a hero. I like seeing how they continually have the interaction with old characters like Bright, old characters from Zeta like Astanage, as well as new characters. And there's always little bits here and there that sort of stick out, the fact that they had Cameron Bloom in this movie. It kind of helps.
Yeah.
It sort of helps cement Universal Century as sort of being a real world, because always in your life there's someone that maybe you went to school with or you encountered, and then your paths go separate ways, and maybe 10 or 15 years later they cross again and you see this person I never expected to see this person again, and then you do.
Yeah.
So having that
and
those few scenes with Cameron and Bright sort of was a nice little coda to all of the stuff that happened in original series, and sort of a nod to that history. And even then, you see that. After all these years, with a character like Cameron, he's still concerned about Mirai. She's been married to Bright all this time.
I love that conversation too.
So it's those little moments that make movies like this come together. My main thing that always bothered me from this movie, and this was one of the first things of Gundam I saw, When I saw this movie, it was way before it was licensed, and I had only seen a handful of episodes of both Zeta and Double Zeta, so there was a lot that I was lost on, but I still had picked up enough. And one thing that always bothered me was that Sayla has zero presence in this movie.
Yeah. That's my major complaint too.
Made no sense.
It's like, especially.
Yeah, you would think that.
Go ahead. Sorry. Especially how Double Zeta ended with her and Bright having that conversation about Char coming back or what Char has been doing behind the scenes. You figure she'd been a major player. It makes you almost think that she's dead.
Exactly.
Because you figured she'd have a front seat in all of this conflict, and she's nowhere to be seen.
At least pleading to him to stop what he's doing.
Yeah, she's no.
Yeah.
That one conversation seems like that one conversation actually kind of serves to set up Char's counterattack, because she's like, oh, I don't think he's gone away and he's going to be back, and you think, well, maybe she's going to do something about it, but no, she's not there at all.
It leads me to believe that she's dead, because there's no way in hell, as far as I'm concerned, that this could go down with her brother threatening the planet without her making a plea towards him to stop this madness, to go there in person. At anybody in the Universal Century, she gets a free pass at anything.
Yeah.
I'd figure that he would make sure she was not on the planet in order to make sure that he can drop this rock on the planet. Have her at least sequestered or something. But she's nowhere to be around.
Maybe who knows? Like off screen, she approached him like when he started up his Neo Zeon movement, but that's not animated, so we don't know. That would just be speculation. But I definitely think that her absence really kind of shows, and since she went through so much trouble to try to stop him from what he was doing just in his personal plan in Gundam, but now he started up this whole war, you'd think even more so she'd be trying to stop what he's doing.
It just didn't make sense. And I honestly, maybe she's in a novel, I don't know, but that just one of the glaring mistakes of that movie. But other than that,
quick question. Was Sayla's voice actor still alive at this point?
Oh yeah.
She only died like a couple
years
ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was a glaring thing. The only thing that kind of I didn't like was the fact that you were just kind of thrown in. Like, it kind of didn't make sense of all of a sudden Char just wants to do this. There was like kind of no build up. I do understand with the time constraints that they needed to do that, but it also, Char's counterattack is also responsible for one of the coolest scenes ever. Bright coming out of the bottom up through the bridge from the sub bridge to the main bridge. That was the coolest thing ever in that chair,
complete with styrofoam cup.
And hamburger holder.
But and hamburger holder. I know it's also responsible for one of Solbro's favorite characters too, Quest Pariah.
Oh yes. I so love her.
The lovely little lolly.
Correction, I loved it when she was killed by the greatest chick in the movie, Sham Fao. Oh, no, not Sham Fao.
Who the hell is?
Oh man,
wrong show.
Tomino universe is crossing over.
Who the hell is Chan Fao?
Yeah.
My girl Chan.
Yeah.
Chan,
but
she really did the universe a service with that one. Thank you. But getting into Quest, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, he's responsible because all I ever heard from Solbro about this movie was how much he hated Quest. And to be honest with you, I didn't find her being that much of a pain. Seriously.
We'll never agree on this one.
Yeah. Actually,
she was a pain, but
actually Hathaway irritated.
She had reason behind it.
Hathaway irritated me more.
He's not too far behind either.
Because he was a complete moron.
He gets his
complete moron.
Oh yeah. He gets he takes the finest Bright slap ever to be Bright slapped in an anime. That was the fact that he slapped him so hard. He floated with the non-gravity into a wall.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you, Bright.
Well, in the novel, he gets Bright executed too. So.
Woo! Yeah, he sure does.
Well, but that's in Hathaway's Flash, which follows a different continuity. But Hathaway, man, that's a case where the apple fell really far from the tree.
Oh my god! Oh my god! On a
whole other planet.
But to me, he was the most irritating character there. But it was nice. I mean, like you said, Chris, earlier, where you had the melding of the newer characters with some of the older characters. It was nice to see, all of the, Bright and his I was going to say Mirai. Is it Mirai? Yeah, it is Mirai. I'm sorry. I'm having a moment. But it was nice to see all that. And like you said, the music in it was incredible. I mean, it was so so epic, and it gave you this.
There's that final scene there.
Yeah.
That one still sticks with me.
The Star Celebration song.
No, the final scene. I said.
Oh, the final one.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
true.
Yeah.
Music playing and
Definitely.
that sticks with me.
That and the equestrian Dukaroo. What is Amuro? Amuro's on a Jeep, and he just dives at Char on that horse, and
I know.
they get to roll it
I don't
in
know
the
why,
hay.
but Amuro seems to have this thing for jumping out of moving vehicles.
Yeah.
In Gundam, he jumped out of
Yeah.
the explosive Jeep. In Zeta, he jumped out of the exploding plane.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man. He's the lead major. He's the lead majors of UC.
Now,
And then Char's counterattack, he's jumping out of the Jeep again.
one thing I really liked about the movie was, for once, we got to see what happened between the death of Lala and Char's eyes.
Yeah.
I still thought that was kind of cool, because we always used to hear it from Amuro, and the fact that Char actually, said, what do you know? What, it hurts you. It hurt me even more, and you got it. And it was cool that they actually reanimated that whole thing. They just didn't cut corners and spliced in old footage.
That was an awesome montage too.
But that was one of the glaring, one of the more prominent things that I thought in that, was because you finally got to see it, because Amuro was crying about it for what, two shows?
2 shows, yeah, practically.
A show and a half or something. But any thoughts on Char's Counterattack, Pete?
I'd like to take this opportunity to point out my favorite character of Char's Counterattack, who was Nanai,
Okay.
Char's lover there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked her, the way she kind of had to put up with Quest, and she still kind of like smacked her in the line that one time, and like I thought she was like a really strong woman to be able to like stand side by side with Char there, and
Yeah.
as much as Char is pegged as a pedophile and stuff, I think like the woman that I think would be that was the perfect match for Char was Nanai.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
She was a strong woman, at the end,
but
she was still a woman, right? Because at the end, she was crying and everything, and she was kind of jealous of Quest,
Yeah.
the way Char was treating her, but she was still on the front line. She was giving orders and stuff, so she's a strong woman. I really respected her, and so
She was the only one. She was the only one that really got him. It seemed kind of got what being Zeon Daikun's son was.
Yeah.
And all the other ones were kind of idealistic, and she kind of understood all the pressure that it had to have been to be that person.
And she understood Char and Amuro's relationship too. Like her one line, it's like people who are too similar will end up hating each other.
Yeah.
That's a very true thing. I've seen that in my life, where two people are so similar, like friends of mine, and they don't like each other. They hate each other to death. And it's like, well, you guys are exactly the same. Y'all should be friends.
Yeah.
And, it never works out that way. And I like to point out Nanai, the woman that is not Uso's grandmother. As much as I'd like it to be.
Speaking of Nanai and that whole line of her being a strong woman, I think it's kind of interesting that at least in the Japanese version, Nanai is played by Yoshiko Sakakibara, who also played Haman.
Haman. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? I've only listened to the dub, so.
Yeah.
Which was good in its own right. It was very good, especially if you watch Mobile Suit Gundam in English, the TV show. Then it just segued right in pretty nicely. But other than that, I agree with you, Pete. Man, she was a very strong character, and one of the 2 coolest females besides Mirai in that whole movie.
Yeah. So
another thing that I would have liked, had they had the time, and maybe they could have worked this around. Given that we see the constant 3 or 4 scenes of Mirai and Shaman trying to get to space and totally fail. Maybe a couple of those scenes could have been cut. It would have been nice to see some of the other characters, say Frau, Kai, see what they've been up to, Camille.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to see, given how much is packed into this movie, I don't think an active role for Camille would have worked, and he would have been competing with screen time with Amuro. But it just would have been nice to see another scene, maybe where he just has some dialogue, just to further confirm from Double Zeta that he's okay now and he's off doing his own
Just
thing.
a shot at the end where he's looking up at the sparkles or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. So if they could have had a little bit less of Mirai's useless quest, and maybe just had some more, just because this is the last chance you had to see all these characters. characters, and would have been nice to see that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see how Frau was doing after Hayato getting killed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she
true.
had the kids.
Well, and after Kotz went, maybe she just breathed
Nah,
a
she
sigh
was
of
probably
relief.
happy once. She had no problem. She had no problem letting Kotz go on the Argama. No.
Oh man, I can't think who's worse, Cats or Quest.
Oh, now that's a toss.
It's always Kotz. At least.
Kotz because he had more screen time.
Yeah, and Quest was
there you
cute.
At least Quest didn't slam into an asteroid.
This is true.
Yeah, and she was cute, so it's like you can't hate on that. But no, that would have been nice to see, especially Kai. He was a journalist, so he probably would have been covering on the scene. Here comes Axis.
Broadcasting live for the North Pole.
With a journalist with a journalist mobile suit.
Yeah, he's borrowing that one from the Astray. What was that, X Astray, where the guy was a journalist?
Oh, right on.
That's Astray. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, if Macross 2 can have like a news Valkyrie,
Yeah.
and Destiny Astray can have a news mobile suit,
Yep.
why couldn't Char's Counterattack?
That's right, man.
Exactly. He could have gun cannon. Just instead of the cannons, they're just
Cameras.
they're just cameras.
Camera boom mic.
Hey, you can't. Gun tank is meant to fight. You can't. That's a killer.
You can't chain the beast.
Hey man, you ever try using that thing in a space mission and the video games?
It's horrible.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, it is terrible.
beat the game with it.
Yeah,
So you might as well frame you put that picture in a frame, man. Put it on the wall.
but so any other thoughts, guys, on Char's Counterattack? How would you kind of rate it? Oh, I'm sorry. You had something, Pete?
Yeah, like going back to Quest a little bit. Yeah, she was annoying, but like she had reason. Like there were reasons for it. Like she was a spoiled rich kid who's trying to be rebellious, and then she's trying to cling to Char, and then they like tamper with her mind and stuff. So while I don't like her, it's like I can't blame her for it.
Yeah, she was just looking for attention.
I can kind of forgive everybody for anything.
Yeah.
So long as they have a good reason behind it.
Except for Kotz.
Yeah, Cops was just stupid, and Hathaway was equally as stupid.
Yeah.
But
The Second Coming.
him killing Chan there was kind of like,
Insult to injury.
yeah. But it's like what the hell, man? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And where were those girls' uniforms before then? Jane had the coolest Federation uniform. She had a skirt.
Yeah, she had a.
I don't know why.
True.
I don't know why they didn't have that beforehand, but
Well, they had a little bit of it in the mobile suit, but not often.
They had the Frau skirt.
Frau skirt,
oh, that's right. That's right. But all right.
For me, overall,
Zero G don't want a skirt flip floating around. As much as the male crew members would like that.
Good point.
Right on.
Despite, just a few, quibbles that I had with the movie, I still gave it a top rating. And I think if you look at it in the context of that first Gundam saga of, original Zeta, Double Zeta in this movie, it's sort of, with some few bumps along the road, pretty smoothly flows into, this one continuing epic, with this being the end. So, I think, despite some hiccups, with Double Zeta and with this movie, it still manages to flow together pretty well if you watch those 3 TV shows and then this movie.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Telling a complete saga.
I'd have to agree with you. I think it's you definitely need basis in the other 3 shows to really understand what was going on. And I mean, I understood when I first saw it. I had seen Mobile Suit. I don't think I had seen Zeta yet or Double Zeta, so it was a little confusing. But once I've seen them all, and I think I watched that movie maybe 6 months ago. I just popped it in. There was nothing on TV, and it's definitely I would give it a top rating too. And like you said, even though it had some issues, it was it definitely was a good end piece to that whole story.
Very true.
So, bro,
what were you gonna say?
Go ahead. I was gonna say that I also watched Char's Counterattack immediately after finishing First Gundam.
Yeah.
So I'd never seen Zeta or Double Zeta because for whatever reason I skipped those Zeta and Double Zeta back then.
Same here.
So but when I still watch it, I think after rewatching it, after seeing the other series, the only really thing that was a reference to the other 2 series was when Char mentioned Haman and the Titans in his speech.
Yeah.
I think that was the only throwback to Zeta and Double Zeta that needed context to know what they meant.
That's true. Everything else was pretty much removed from.
Everything else, you could just watch it right after First, and it's like, okay, Char and Amuro still are at each other's throats here.
Yeah.
Which is, I didn't like Char and Zeta Gundam because he seemed kind of, way too out of character. He if he begrudgingly kind of teamed up with Amuro, but he didn't really. I mean, they were like sharing drinks together and stuff, and then all of a sudden, Char's counterattack, he wants to kill him for what happened to Lala again. So like, kind of went too much off on a tangent for my liking. Yeah. But I like Char and Char's counterattack, even though I kind of think he should have stayed more of a pilot than a political leader, but he still made a decent political leader.
Yeah.
And I also give Char's counterattack top marks too. Like, it was definitely like an epic end to a saga. Even if I do like F91 more out of the two movies, but Char's counterattack is still like undeniably awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to keep this short, but I like to see the opposite happen to Char's counterattack that happened with the Zeta Gundam series, where it becomes a expanded OVA. Where you get to see more of the story, maybe a little bit more of the other characters that came from the other series. But if I was to rate it, I'd probably give it honestly, I'm a little harsher with it than most. I'd give it a 3.5 because I wanted to see more. I really did. I wanted to know, what happened to the other characters, as Afer mentioned. But it's a good finale to a series, and I like the ambiguous end. Did Char and Amuro die? We really don't know. I honestly think they did.
Well, we got the answer earlier.
I think they did.
Yeah, we did.
One went to the cosmic era. One
maybe they quantum leaped and met up with Al.
Something.
Who is now a Cylon.
Yeah.
And then they went into Battlestar Galactica.
Well, that's fracking awesome.
Actually, one thing that kind of bothered me that I just kind of remembered is why Amuro thought he could push back an asteroid with one mobile suit.
Yeah.
No matter how much new type hacks he had behind him, let's push back this giant-ass rock with just this one mobile suit.
Yeah.
Hey, Sergei thought he could do the same, too.
Yeah.
An asteroid's considerably different than just a piece of space colony or whatever it was.
Yeah, but he was in the crappiest mobile suit there was.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
He had a better chance of pushing that back than Amuro did at pushing back Axis.
Well, dang.
Hey, the new Gundam isn't just for show.
No.
Man, it's got Jedi powers, too.
But, well, that's our fourth installment of Gundam Round-up, covering Char's counterattack. We'll return next time with what would be the next in production order, Chris? Would it be
0080?
0080.
Oh, man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. War of Boy Love. War of Boy Love, 0080. But we're gonna get out of here. We'll be right back in a little bit. You're listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
Hey, this is Soul Bro Ryu, and I know what you're thinking. What the hell happened to 14? If we're listening to episode 15, did we miss 14? You did miss 14. The only one missed it is me. I made a grave mistake when transferring some files, and some segments of 14 were pretty much destroyed. I went ahead, though, and took the surviving segment, which is the Zeta Gundam segment, and moved it to the first segment, which is coming up next. And for the remainder of this explanation, please stay tuned to after the end of the podcast, right after the Shinjuku Station and MAHQ sound off, and I'll get into more about what happened and how we plan to make it up. I deeply, 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 deeply apologize for this, and it seems like no matter how much we try, the 00 segment will never come into fruition. And what's funny is this time it's 100% my fault, no one else's. So if you need to cast any stones, please hit me up on the MAHQ boards, or please email me at sbrmahq@gmail.com and send the hate, please, I deserve it. And getting back on track, here's the next segment.
Go away, Todd. If you want to come in, you are going to have to break down the goddamn door.
Welcome back to Gundam at MAHQ, the end of episode 16, where we talked about the animes we're currently watching, the state of the North American anime industry, and in the Gundam Round-up, we talked about Char's counterattack. Slowbro, you had a few words to say?
Oh, yeah.
Where can they contact us, Slowbro?
Oh, well, they can reach us at by email at gundam.mahq@gmail.com. And also, you can always post feedback on the forums at mechatalk.net, or reach us. Of course, the main site for us is MAHQ.net, as if you didn't know. And also, again, I'd like to remind you guys that if you can, try to help out our friend and one of the regular posters at mechatalk.net, longtime MAHQ contributor, Mark 064, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And please, if, by all means, visit the general discussion thread at the mechatalk.net forums and donate what you can to the PayPal account that's been set up in order to help him recover from the fire that pretty much has struck
devastated him. Yeah.
And other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say. You guys have anything else to add?
Chris, any news on the MHQ front? In addition,
new stuff coming at some point.
At some point,
new stuff coming.
TBA.
I gave you plenty of new stuff to use.
New stuff.
So, all right. Well,
I'm just gonna be vague and not say anything.
Yeah, don't make any promises. All right.
Stay mysterious.
But
be a surprise.
Well, I already mentioned some of it back on April 1st, but there's still gonna be more. So I'm just gonna keep quiet on the more.
Well, that ends our show, and I probably won't be back next week. I'll see you guys whenever and continue enjoying these three crazy gents.
No problem.
They're great podcasts.
No problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming along.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yep.
No problem. Anytime.
Later.
See you later.
Peace.
All right.
Yes, the wind whipping against my face. That's what war's about.
Damn! But MAHQ is a Shinjuku station, an MAHQ production.
I'm just a little anxious to get up there and whoop ET's ass, that's all.
I want to be the best I can for me, for you, for every man. But I can slip, I lose my place. This shamefulness is hard to